Up early feeding the animals this morning. You can hear they're yelling at me. I'm going to show you how to save a little money today. It applies to homestead life like this, but it also applies to everyday normal life if you live in the city or whatever. Let's get everybody fed first. Gonna feed Maggie first. She's our Jersey Angus cow. Got her from some Amish friends of ours when we lived in Pennsylvania. She was just a baby. She was like, I don't know, 2 days old when we got her. She was tiny. Matter of fact, picked her up in my arms and we drove home, me holding her. At the time, we didn't have a cow trailer. So this is always interesting. So let me set this up for you to see it here. Look out, little one. Hey, Mag. Maggie, back up. Watch your hoof. Watch your hoof. Back up. Watch your hoof. Watch your hoof. Nope. Oh, no, wait. You guys are next, chill. Now it's time for the little ones. So these guys, hang on, little fella. That's Marvin. We call him Little Man. He was born here. He thinks I'm dad, I think. This is Millie. That's his grandmother. That's Madeline over there. That's his deadbeat mother. Refused to nurse him, so we had to bottle feed him. And that's Biddy. Biddy, we think, has a parasite problem. That's why she's so skinny. All right, so I said I was going to save you some money. I'll show you a particular item, and this applies to a lot of stuff. This one yesterday was just kind of shocking how much cheaper I was able to buy something. So anyway, around the homestead here, we do a lot of fence work, and we do, all kinds of stuff. We're building our barn dominium here. I'll do a video on that later because this is, I guess, what they call a paycheck house where we just build it as we go. Don't know anything, so it's actually kind of interesting. I'll show you that. But anyway, so yesterday we were doing some fence work, repairing a section of fence that got torn down by the flood, and we use on the barbed wire, we use these little things called fence staples, but we use like a screw version of it. See that? Goes in the wood, and this little staple part of it right there holds the fence or the barbed wire or whatever you got. It keeps it tight or taut. Anyway, so these things are a lot easier than the little ones that you hammer in. And I'll show you the box here. This is a box of 175 of these things. Tractor Supply sells those for $69 a box. 69 bucks. Lowe's sells them for $29 a box. They're usually, they're usually 40 to 60 bucks somewhere. Tractor Supply is just a little higher. But the good thing is Tractor Supply actually price matches. And a lot of the stores will do price match plus 10%. So I don't know why or what they use to determine whether they do the plus 10%. It's always worth asking. I know a couple of the stores near us actually have the signs up that say, if you find a better price, we'll match it plus 10%. Anyway, the one I went to yesterday didn't do that. They matched it. But just goes to show that you're paying a lot more for stuff if you just arbitrarily go buy and pay what the sticker price is. One thing I do, if I go to a store that price matches, and I'll look those up quite frequently. Sometimes it drives my wife crazy. But if I'm buying something, especially if it's something that you know is not super cheap, I'll pull up my phone and I'll start looking at the prices around. And in lieu of going to all these different stores, we'll go to a store like Tractor Supply or somewhere that does price matching. I think Home Depot does price matching, and a lot of it has to be exactly the same thing. You can't have like something that's a different brand. It has to be the same thing. But I'll go in and I'll pull up my phone and I'll price match, you know, whatever we're buying. I'll look for the best price. And if it's substantial, you know, we'll tell them about it. I'll screenshot it, show it to them at the register, and they give us the cheaper price. But you can find look, guys, you can save a lot of money that way. And it might sound like, hey, this, you know, I saved what, $29, I saved $40 on this one versus what I would have paid if I would have just paid the sticker price there at the store. But $40, that's over half price on those screws. That stuff adds up, you know. For instance, here on the Homestead, somebody asked me the other day, you know, what did you not save on when you're building, you know, you're building your house, when we're building our barn dominium? I really had to think about it. And my wife thought it was funny because finally the only thing I came up with that we paid full price for was the concrete. And that wasn't the installation. When we shopped those prices around, you know, the guys that came in and did it, but the actual concrete, because it's, you know, you're not going to price match concrete. It is what it is. You call the company, they bring the big truck out, and you know, you just pay what you have to. But there's other ways to save money, and I'll share some of that later. But you know, honestly, and I'll show you, this is where we are now. I mean, you got most of the windows in, not quite all of them, the roof on, but we've saved a ton of money building this house as we go, shopping prices on literally everything. We had a situation on this, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. We had a situation on this where we were going to do 2x4 stud walls. It's a barn dominium, so it has the posts every 10 feet. And we were going to do the stud walls in between the posts, and we were going to do 2x4. But then I realized that my posts were 6 inches, and if I did 2x4, I would have it would have to recess either on the inside or the outside to match those walls up to match with the studs. So anyway, I bought these big bundles of 2x4s and got a great deal on them. We looked and looked, and I finally found a place I could buy them by the bundle. And we saved so much money on these 2x4s that when we didn't need them, I put them on Marketplace and sold them and doubled my money on what we had paid on them for someone else buying them. And, you know, they got them cheaper than they would get them at Lowe's or somewhere like that. Anyway, well, I'll share a lot of that later because there's ways you can save a ton of money. This house is going to be 1,500 square feet, 22-foot ceilings in the middle, and we're going to build this thing for under $100,000. And I'll share that with you. But anyway, just on little stuff like this, $69. We price matched it for $29. Save $40 on one item. There's all kinds of things you can do that with.